Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Brill, the President is proposing that we cut the employer's payroll taxes to create jobs. Other members of Congress, the Democratic members of Congress, are proposing that we raise payroll taxes in order to make the Social Security fund solvent. Which of those two policies would we get more jobs? Would the fund become more solvent? Which one of those policies should we select?
Are there any other choices?
I won't select either one of those, but those are the proposals.
I would just note again, as I remarked to Congressman Berg, the important distinction between those two, in addition to the fact that one's going up and the other one's going down, is that one is temporary and the other one's permanent. The evidence of temporary tax policies on permanent job creation is shaky at best, and our, as we were just noting, recent experience may be too soon to analyze, but it seems unlikely that we would get a large benefit from a temporary payroll tax, whether it be on the employee side or the employer side. Of course, there have been a number of attempts at temporary policies in the last few years, none of which seem to have been particularly effective. On the other side, raising the cap is a permanent policy, and employers and employees experiencing long-term higher marginal rates are less likely to engage in work.
As someone that is a small employer as well as a member of Congress, and my brother as well, we've had this discussion in the last week about what happens in January when all of a sudden the 2% goes away, and all of a sudden the same exact check to one of the foremen, in this case, $68. The foreman will be paid exactly the same amount, but there will be $68 less in his paycheck. Is there any of you on the panel that have any opinion about what effect that is going to have on employment if Congress or the administration is not able to extend that deduction? Dr. Biggs, how about you?
I think I would agree with some of the others that I suspect the effects on employment of temporary payroll tax cuts will be small. And so if we didn't see a lot of job gains through the payroll tax cut, and I suspect we didn't, then probably we won't see a lot of job losses when the payroll tax goes back to its original level. That's my gut on this. It may be possible to do some research in further years and figure it out. But if you're looking to hire somebody, particularly if you're looking to hire somebody for a quality job, what we call a good job, it's somebody you want to have them stick around for a while. A permanent employee, a 2% cut in your labor costs in 1 year is not really enough to say, I'm going to go out and add a whole load of new people. It's just the temporary nature of it. I don't think it would have that big an effect. So I tend to think the positive effects were small, and the negative effects when it goes away also will be small.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could ask a question that I promised a gentleman last week when he found out that I was going to be on the Social Security subcommittee. He asked me to ask this as a question. What is, and I'll ask this to Mr. Goss, what is the definition of a gap baby? Notch baby, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Because this gentleman obviously is a notch baby.
Okay, well,
and he calls often.
We apologize for that. There was a certain period of time during which births reached retirement age in a period when, as a result of the 1977 Social Security amendments, because the benefit levels were rising at really an unsustainable rate. The so-called replacement ratios, benefits relative to wage levels, were growing out of control. And the 1977 Social Security amendments came along and corrected that. But the Congress at that time decided that the benefits had risen to a level that was about 6% higher than they thought made sense. So they actually, over a period of 5 or 6 years worth of retirees, actually pulled the benefit levels down. As a result of having the benefit levels pulled down over that period, we ended up with a situation which really defines what a notch is. People retiring this year, say at 62, actually getting less when they retire at 62 than a person who's now 63, had the same job and retired a year ago. And so if a person retiring now is getting less than a person who retired a year ago from the same job, then that's kind of defined as a notch. And that's something which, when we design proposals, Kim Hildred, Captain Olson, everybody sitting behind you knows well this is something we strive to avoid having notches in the future, so you won't have any more cards and letters.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Try not to ask that question. Oh, let's see. Mr. T. Berry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for having this hearing. Mr. Goss, remind